What you see here before you is the F220. This is the German frigate Hamburg. She is part of the Sachsen class, the F124 line. Now, there's always going to be some difference in capabilities of a ship in sea power and capabilities of a ship in real life. But then again, we have to take some liberties as this is a game, not reality, as badly as some people would want it to be. The game has the ship over here in the workshop as made by Sebas11, and you can already see that there is a very sizable radar spinning on the stern. It's the Smart L. It is a very long-range search radar for air targets. She is capable of reaching out to about 800 miles, but that's only for targets which are flying very, very, very high up. There is an aircraft coming in, and we should eventually see that at, I think, at about 250-ish mile range. Of course, the higher a target flies, the more likely you are to pick it up. Now, starting off at the sensor suite on this ship, you not only have that Smart Large, the Smart L, the air and surface search radar, also surface searcher, L-band, and it is made by Thales Nederland, which is the Dutch, well, radar producer, or at least they produce radar as part of their services. It's also part of the Dutch frigates, the 7 Provinces class, which I really hoped to serve on. I had a poster, not quite of this ship, but of a sister ship, if you will, or at least a sister-ish like design in the form of the Dutch class, the 7 Provinces. More on that type class later. This is a very long search radar. We also have access to the other radar, which is the one that you see up here on the tower, on the mast. This is an active phased array, which gives you 32 weapons channels. So they can keep track of and engage a lot of different targets at the same time. It is, however, just mounted there, and it is mostly for surface search, or rather, its range isn't spectacular, which means that you will be able to find surface targets and air targets alike. But whereas the other one, the Smart, is just for searching, this one is also for designating targets. It's also a firing radar, if you will, or fire control radar. Outside of that, she also comes equipped with a couple of ESM options. We have electronic support measures, and we have electronic defensive countermeasures. This is an active, or rather a passive jammer, I think, because it is not one of those systems that you can turn on and go jam that direction. So in that sense, you don't get access to it, but it is a passive jammer, much like some of the ships have, where you see a message going, hey, your missile has been spoofed. And this is what causes that. If you are looking, you can also see a hull-mounted sonar with a passive range of 50 and an active range of 12. That is going to give this thing capabilities of going for air targets, surface targets, and subsurface targets. The passive range of 50 is very high. Very high. But then again, this ship was built in 1999 and I think commissioned in 2004. So in that sense, it is much more advanced than the ships that you typically have in sea power. This is more of one of those well, present-day warships. There is, however, one kind of peculiar thing about it, and that's that big gun on the bow. That is the Monarch, the Modular Naval Artillery concept. What's that in layman's terms? Well, they tried to throw, and this was actually a, sorry about the camera, this was actually a project. They tried to throw a PZH-2000 turret onto a ship. And with that, they give it some very substantial shore bombardment capabilities. It is integrating a land-based PZH-2000 155mm self-propelled howitzer onto naval vessels, particularly the Sachsen class. It was a collaboration between the Bundeswehr, Kraftmaffei Wegmann, and the German Navy, intended to provide ships with long-range precision fire support for shore bombardment and littoral warfare. Now, I'm gonna have to find a target in order for that thing to actually work. The other weaponry that you can see on the bow here is this thing over here. That's a rolling airframe missile, aka a RAM, RIM 116, capable of going out to targets very, very close to the ship. And it only has a range of 5 miles. but it can fire those missiles pretty quick. That is also the only self-defense that she has. Well, I mean, there's another one on the stern, but this is a missile self-defense. It does not have any CIWS. At least not in the form of a goalkeeper, a phalanx, or other, let's say, very fast-firing cannon, in order to go after missiles which have bypassed all of the other options that it has. And those other options are 24 standard missile to block 3. That is a 90-mile range on a missile which can engage both air targets and surface targets. It's the Aegis VLS of the Block 3 series. You can see all of those VLS right there in front of the bridge. Of course, this can be used against surface targets. It is, however, I'd say not ideal, because that is going to limit the range to about 20-25 miles, depending on how far your radar can actually see, how high it is mounted, and what sort of capabilities you're going to get to actually guide that missile onto the target. So if you want to hit something farther afield, you can use the Harpoon. Out to 80-mile range, this is the Delta variant, and that is going to give you a bit more of a standoff capability. We see taken off from her stern is her helicopter. This is Sea-Lynx Mark 88, and this is an interesting bird, because it is going to give you the capability of going after targets a bit farther afield with some torpedoes. But notably, soda buoys are absent. How does she do it then? How does she do it? Well, she has a dipping sonar. She has a dipping sonar capable of going above and below the layers, and with that, it's going to be capable of just flying to a location, hovering, dipping, listening, and then going back. Let's see if we can already engage this thing. It's 25 miles out. Can we hit that with a... No, not quite. Slightly out of range. And that also means it's going to be out of range of this one. Yeah, unfortunately. Alright, let's go all ahead flank. As for the helicopter, it's pretty quick, 178 knots. And again, the Lynx was, I believe, one of the fastest helicopters afield. So it is not surprising that these things are as quick as they are. And they do look good as well. They're capable of dropping 2 torpedoes onto unsuspecting, or potentially not so unsuspecting submarines. Keep in mind, without those sonobuoys, it's going to be a bit more involved. It's going to be a bit more microing to get your anti-submarines, or to get your submarines detected. You'll have to work a little harder for this thing to actually work. You can work in tandem with your mothership, but that would require the mothership to actually slow down. Because you can bet your ass that at 32 knots, I am not going to hear very much. Let's see what my own noise is right now. Own noise is 192. So yeah, good luck hearing a submarine that's a heck of a lot quieter, and hoping that you can detect that before it detects you. If I'm going to slow down, maybe actually slow down really quickly. This is without time acceleration. Own noise is dropping 171. I'm going to limit to about 6 knots, I think. Oh, noise is still 161. This is not a quiet ship. It is definitely not nearly as quiet as a submarine. And I believe that the whole class is mostly designed as a... at least the Dutch versions were. Mostly designed as a anti-air ship. So an air defense ship. Such as the German Sachsen Class 2. And of course, yes, with the Monarch it gains long-range strike capabilities, but with that radar and that fire control radar slash AFAR, it's, I'd say, much more geared towards anti-air operations than anti-submarine operations. It can do it. It can do it. It also comes equipped with, I didn't even cover that yet, the MU-90 impact torpedo with a range of 12 miles. Still means you are likely going to find yourself at the mercy of a submarine. Here are the torpedo launchers. Because most of the submarines fighting you, especially in this more modern era, will already have more range than you. So keep that in mind as you are going to consider using this torpedo. I think that surface ship mounted torpedoes are a bit outdated. They are, at least by me in this game, not used very often, if at all. because I typically use my Lynx or other helicopter in order to scout things out and drop torpedoes on them from very far away so that the mothership never actually comes at risk at all. Now, let's speed things up a little. I want to see that gun in action. It is a neutral Chilikin that has involuntarily volunteered to be a target practice ship. We carry 155mm shells, and we carry 150 of them. Let's slow down.
Engage track 7001. Salvo fire.
Of course, it looks absolutely ridiculous with that camo on it. But hey, so long as it works in the game, I don't really mind it. Well, no, that's not entirely true. I do mind it. I don't think it looks that good. But I do guess what I get what it's trying to do. As for the other weapon over here, we have a 27mm Mauser. And I think that's the weapons here on the sides. Anti-projectile, so I wasn't entirely correct in saying it doesn't have any COAs, because it does have these. I very much doubt how good they are. But then again, I haven't seen them in action yet. You can see it's a very, very, very short range. Are we actually inflicting any kind of hits? Or are those shells still traveling? No, we're not actually hitting anything. Can we already hit them with a standard missile? Yes. PLS opens, and there we go. Oh, we hit him! Did we? Of course, going with a standard missile is going to be far more efficient, and if you are facing something farther afield, use a harpoon, and you'll never have to worry about getting into range that much. A 25-mile range is a bit low, of course, for a ship. I typically wouldn't want to do that. Overall, I think not only does the ship look very good, its capabilities all round are very good. The only thing I'd say is that the amount of missiles that it carries is a bit light. It carries 24, and that means that if you are trying to defend an entire formation against a Soviet missile attack, you might not have enough. If they start popping 2 missiles for every inbound missile, that means you're going to have 12 missiles you can shoot down. 12. That's it. So good luck with that, because it's generally going to be, well, especially with some of the larger ships, like a Kirov. This ship would not alone be able to defend against a Kirov. It simply wouldn't be able to shoot down all of those missiles, as it doesn't have enough. Only if you start single tapping, you might be able to get enough. But then again, do you really want to have a chance with one of those massive Soviet anti-ship missiles? Overall, I really like the look of this ship. I think she looks great. I think it has that really modern feel with the phased array radar and the smart L in the back. I really like the look of it. So don't be surprised if you're going to see this one show up in a scenario soon, as I look forward to playing with it. Link down below in the description. You do need anchor chain and sea lifter, and there is an installation instruction on the page for the mod, so that's not something I have to cover. Thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more sea power.